Hey there YouTubers, in this video we're going to install the Ryzen 5 3600 XT into this here MSI B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi. Alright, so the first thing to do is you want to have your base plate in the back of this, the standard one that comes with it. And this motherboard has a little circle there on the motherboard. We're gonna line up this triangle that's in the corner with that. You could also identify the N in Ryzen should be the closest to the lever arm. Oops. So I have thermal paste on my hand from not doing a good job of cleaning this off. Sloppy, folks. Let me go clean that up. And magically it's gone. So, let's put some thermal paste on this. We'll use this Arctic MX4. If I can get it open. And we'll just put a little there, a little there. Hopefully we'll get decent spread. You don't want to be too thick. You don't want to be too thin. All right. So I'm just going to use the standard old stock CPU cooler. This guy. Could have used a different one, but I'm going to go ahead and plug this in so you guys can actually see it ahead of time. And voila. And AMD logo. I'll go with it this way. Alright. So you've got to line these up. Fasteners with the posts. And we're going to try and get these two that are diagonal. And then hopefully, yeah, they're all four attached. So I was going to install a Ryzen 9 3900X, but it has some pin damage. I had an unfortunate accident where it was seized to the bottom of the CPU cooler. Pulled it out, and then trying to get it off there, folks. And ended up smacking it off the counter and then onto the tile floor. I'm amazed it worked at all. I need to go back and see if I can straighten out the pins. I'm sure it's an easy fix, but the pins that were damaged are the ones related to its ability to handle looks like PCIe 4.0, because other motherboards, the motherboard has PCIe 4.0. I can't use that GPU slot. So alright, so that's in, folks. Let's go ahead and just put some RAM in here. Find some RAM that hopefully works. We'll try this. Nothing spectacular about this one, 2666. Obviously, before you put RAM in here, you want to go to the manufacturer's website and verify if the RAM's compatible, okay? So, RAM only goes in here one way, this side shorter than this, up to that groove, and the RAM slot is designed the same way. Two hands should get a snap. Alright, so that's in. I'm not going to put it M.2 in here, but if I wanted to, I would could disconnect that, or we could use this spot right here. So really what I'm doing is I want to basically get this thing up and running before I start adding other components. Easiest way to troubleshoot. Okay, so we have that. Let's go ahead and put in hook up our power supply, right? So we'll do got this 650 watt sitting over here. Let me make sure it's unplugged. Here is the 24-pin power connector. Comes for the PSU. This powers up your motherboard. We'll put that in there. Now I talk about basically setting this up so it is easiest way to do it for troubleshooting. We don't want to have a lot of components on here, so taking a drive off will make it easier. Now, front panel connectors, if you happen to have one of these little gizmos here, okay, for front panel connector, you could just connect this is the power switch, to this second row here, the top row, third and fourth pins, and boom, okay. You could do this 180 degrees from where I did it. It doesn't matter for that one. All right, so another thing we need here, folks, is we need our CPU power, okay? So let's go ahead and hook that up. And so I will, gotta get this angled so you guys can see it. And I think you can just see it from there. So I'll do a BIOS update video with this. I will also do BIOS overview so you guys can see it. You know, this motherboard's been around for a while. You don't know what's out there. Alright. So these cables are all over the place. So we've got one stick of RAM. CPU's installed, CPU cooler. We actually don't even need the CPU cooler on here to start it up, but to protect the CPU, obviously you want to have this on here. CPU power connector, must have. Got to have one stick of RAM at a minimum. We've got a power switch. So we should be able to fire this up, right? Or not. What CPU did I say I had? The R5 3600 XT. So that means we need a graphics card. So RTX 30s or RTX 2060 Super. Unless I have. Let me see if I have one that doesn't require a PCIe connector. Kind of graphics cards are honestly the easiest to do for setting up the computer. One less connection to make, right? So we've got that in. Doesn't need a PCIe connector. We do need to plug in HDMI to it. So we do that. And I'll rotate this up a little. So you guys won't be able to see the connection made, but this one has HDMI and DisplayPort. So that's in, folks. Turn the monitor on. Now the PSU has a power switch. We want the basically to be clicked down on the single line, and we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and hit our power switch. Oh, that's not good, folks. Oh, you know what? It's not plugged in. Remember, we wanted to unplug this before we did all this work. So, plug that in. Make sure the power switch is on. Now, here is this power switch that's plugged in where the front panel connectors go. And voila. We walk over here and see if my computer will boot to BIOS. If it does, then we were successful. It's even plugged in. Okay. So MSI has a easy debug on it. And we do have one light on, which is scary. Okay. So it is just asking for us to hook up a keyboard. All right, so here's the USB for it. I'm going to plug that in. And it says press F2 to continue. Alright. So hopefully we'll make it into the BIOS. And on my side, folks, I'm in the BIOS. So that was another successful installation. Now, oh, check this out, folks. So I accidentally installed an AMD Ryzen 5 Pro 3400G. This motherboard is not supposed to be compatible with the 3400G. It says it on the box. And if you go to the website, you will see that this motherboard does not list this CPU. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, that's going to do it for the video, folks. Thanks for checking out. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.